You stand in front of the throne of God long enough, you'll see little spirit beings coming in out of him. Because that glory that comes from the inside of him is rays of glory. And they ride on those rays of glory, and they come out and they go back in. They can't just float off in heaven. They have their existence in him. And we all were there. That's where you were before you came to this earth. You had your existence in God. And when he always planned to have us be born. He always planned to have a family. You know, I mean, he loved us when we were in him, because inside God, I should have started really from the beginning. Inside God, if you could step inside of God and one day in heaven, you will do that. Father, I pray that they be one, even as you and I are one. There is no big secret in heaven about the Trinity, the Godhead, because Jesus gets up and steps inside the Father. The Holy Spirit steps inside the Father, and they are the Godhead. The three, what? In one. And that was one of the first revelations he gave me. He said, I'm going to show you the Trinity. And he caught me up. And I'm standing there, and Jesus was sitting right here next to the Father. And I'll tell you what he looks like in a minute. And the Holy Spirit's presence is over here because he's invisible, but he's always got this fire that goes all around his whole being in swirls all the time, or fabrics. He loves colors swirl around him all the time. And I'm not being disrespectful, but they call him the drama king in heaven. And you will find out pretty soon on this earth what that really means. What do you think the baptism of the Holy Spirit is? You can't get much more dramatic than that. But he's been kind of held back, but he's about to be released with unlimited drama power inside of you. And they're going to wreak havoc on church services everywhere. Because he's going to show up uninvited and not expected. And they won't be the same again. So he will come, and he came and he stepped inside the Father with all of his glory. And I'm just sitting there, and you can't see him. They've like disappeared. They just stepped right inside of him. And from here down, you actually see like a physical appearance. He actually has hands and arms. He'll hold you and embrace you. You can see him sitting on the throne. And from here up, you just see the glory of God. It's just brilliant. That rainbow would touch from here to that wall. And it goes from here all the way around, this huge arc, all the way around him. And it just emanates from his being as this beautiful white, brilliant light, and then gold, and then other colors, and then this emerald green, then teal, and then sapphire blue, and this little edge of purple, the most beautiful purple you've ever seen. And that's why when you stand in front of his throne, the throne looks like it's blue. It's that band in the rainbow, that sapphire blue that totally engulfs the whole throne of God. If you walked around behind the throne, you would see that it was white. But anyone standing in front of it, and like Ezekiel said, I saw a throne like a sapphire. Because he was seeing that blue that emanates from the presence of God, that rainbow that comes from him. So they totally disappeared into God, and I'm standing there looking at him, and he goes, this is the 3-in-1. See, I'm like a kid. Now, if you're going to show something to your kid, you're not going to get a manual out and go into all the details, you know, you're going to take them and say, okay, you see this? Don't touch that. If you touch it, it'll hurt. You're not going to sit there and take an hour and a half to explain to them what the thing is and why they shouldn't do this. You're just going to say, this is it. Okay, see this? This is a bottle of water. Drink it. You're not going to tell them how the water is made, the container was made, different ways they can store it. That's how simple. That's what he does with me. So he doesn't show me symbolic things. He shows me the real thing. He said, this is the Godhead bodily. This is the 3-in-1. And then the Holy Spirit comes out and steps over there, and Jesus comes out and sits down. And he goes, now we are the 3, but we are still 1. So that's what the Trinity is. There are 3 different beings, but a Godhead. And we are supposed to be the Godhead bodily. That's what the Word says. You are supposed to be the Godhead bodily in this earth. How close are we to that? So that's what the Trinity is. That was one of the first revelations he gave me. It was real simple, and I understood it really well. Some people think we have a God with 3 heads. We don't. They're 3 totally different beings, but one Godhead. And so they have the ability to step inside of God. That means there's a place in him. If they step inside him, he does not have organs like we have. He's a supernatural being. Inside of God is eternity. It is literally the most beautiful place that exists anywhere, is inside God. And one day, when you come home to heaven, guess what you get to do? You get to step inside him. And then Jesus will step in there. And the Holy Spirit will step in there. And you'll be one being. Isn't that amazing? Because as spirit beings, you can do that. Father, I pray that they be one. He wasn't talking about us all being in unity. I pray that they be one even as we are one. That's what he meant when they're all inside of the Father. And you will get to step inside God and see where you were before you ever came to this earth. Inside of God is a beautiful, beautiful place. There's mountains. Where do you think that creation, that creativity idea came from? Inside of him is a beautiful, beautiful place. There's the holy mount of God. When he talks about that, he's talking about inside him. The stones of fire are guess where? Inside God. I'm going to read from Ezekiel 28, where it begins to describe Lucifer and when he was walking upon the stones of fire. Do you remember that? How many people know about that? Some people do, some don't. It's going to talk about what Lucifer looked like when he was created. The kind of relationship he had with the Father was what was the worst tragedy to me about what he did. He had access to step inside the Father whenever he wanted to. Inside the Father is his heart, the heart of his being, the place where he burns for us. It says our God is a consuming fire. That fire is love for us. When you get baptized in fire, that's what you get filled up with. That fire that's on the inside of the Father that burns with love, that love is going to penetrate your being. That's what's coming to this earth. That's the former and the latter rain. It's baptism in fire. They got it all in the upper room. You're about to get the other half of it now. In just a little while, you're going to get a taste of it from me, but when they come and those tidal waves of love hit this earth, it will transform the believers. It'll burn the world out of you and fill you full of that passion that Christ had when he went to the cross. That's how much you'll fall in love with people. You'll love each other. The world will know you by your love for each other, not by all the mighty signs and wonders, because the enemy be doing copycat wonders. And I can tell you what some of those are too. But in Ezekiel 28, that is Ezekiel, God has him prophesied to Lucifer. And he's telling him he has something to say to him. And, whoops, well, I dropped something. I'll disappear for a moment. I'll be right back. I did that on one of my DVDs. My brother goes, what are you doing? I was watching you, then you were gone off the screen, and then you came back and went, I dropped something. Okay, maybe we need a clipboard next time, Margaret. Then it won't go anywhere. So this is what he's telling him. He's talking about him because, Lucifer had been going around saying, I am like the Most High. I will take over, I will exalt myself above his throne. I'll exalt myself above the stars in heaven, the stars of heaven, not in heaven. The stars of heaven, God calls his angels stars many times. And they shine like stars. Sometimes you see flashes of light going past you, and you don't even realize an angel just went past you. Yeah, sometimes you just see spots of light. Those are angels. If you're in your car driving and you see them flash past you and there's nothing around, those are angels. Probably guarding you, and they slow down just enough for you to see the brightness of their light. Well, I see them, so I know what they are. So if you see, the next time you see that, you just saw an angel. And so, they appear as light. And so, anyway, I'm going to go back to this where he was saying, you say I am a God, and that I sit on the throne of a God. In the middle of the people, I'm reading in Ezekiel. And this is the New Century Version. I actually looked at many different translations of the Bible. You think you're as wise as a God, but you're a created being. You are not a God. You think you're wiser than Daniel. You think you can find out all the secrets. Through your wisdom and understanding, you've made yourself wealthy. So this is what the Lord God says.